please join me in congratulating a remarkable lawyer, a true innovator, and an inspiration to us all, the 2025 Distinguished Alumni Award honoree, Taylor Sartor.
Thank you so much, Ernest, for that amazing introduction. And thank you for Greenberg-Traurig for the ongoing support all through the years. Good evening, everyone. I am so honored and so excited to be here tonight to talk to you all about how Equal Justice Works has made such a large impact on my life and my career. I learned about Equal Justice Works when I was touring law schools. I was at Stetson Law in the Career Development Office, and I learned about the Design Your Own Fellowship program. I was immediately blown away when I learned that I could design my own job to serve an unmet legal need in my community. And to be honest, I was completely sold. Right then and there, I decided I was going to become an Equal Justice Works Fellow before I had even began law school. I want to rewind a little bit and talk about why I decided to become a lawyer in the first place. When I was 15 years old, I was the victim of a violent crime. What felt like forever, took the time to wait and meet with a prosecutor, only to learn that they would not be pursuing the case. I will never forget her words. The system works really well for the bad guys and not so well for the good ones. That evening, I wrote a letter to that prosecutor. I asked her how she could go to work every day in a system that she knew didn't help victims, how she could go home and sleep at night without fighting to change this. In that letter, I said that I would become a lawyer one day and that I would change the system, and I would make sure no other child felt the way I did that day. Now, I never sent that letter, but it ended up being my personal statement for my law school applications. Fast forward to today. I did what I said I would at age 15. I am a lawyer for children in foster care. I fight for their rights. I fight for their rights and ensure their voices are heard. And when many children in Florida don't have an attorney while in the custody of the state, because Florida is one of the 13 states that does not provide the universal right to counsel for children in foster care, I created the first app in the country that explains the benefits, protections, and legal rights for youth in foster care. And the name, chosen by youth themselves, is called Foster Power. Now, when I went to law school, I graduated with a certificate in social justice advocacy, and I learned that when you are fighting for social justice, all of the work is not done solely in the courtroom. What I love about Equal Justice Works is how the program encourages fellows to take a multi-pronged approach to solving unmet legal needs in their communities. My project was to represent clients in group home foster care because evidence and data and all kinds of research shows us facilities cannot raise children. Group care costs a ton of money. Group care costs a ton of money and produces poor outcomes. Youth are less likely to graduate high school, less likely to find permanency, more likely to be involved in juvenile delinquency, more likely to become a victim of human trafficking. The list goes on and on and on. During my fellowship, I focused on 3 areas. I provided direct representation to clients, I train youth and adults on the rights kids have in foster care, and I collaborated with attorneys across Florida to provide trainings on youth rights. During my fellowship, I successfully advocated for the transition of over 85% of my clients from group homes to family-like settings. I worked with my sponsor, Greenberg Traurig, to update and add new sections to the Know Your Rights Guide for Youth that I created, and the conversation started to shift in our state. Kids did not just have wishes when they were removed from their homes and being given the state to be their parents. They have legal positions and legal rights. And when they have attorneys, their rights are protected, their voices are heard, and they have better outcomes. I am very proud to say that when I applied for the fellowship, I was going to be the 3rd attorney at the L. David Shearer Children's Law Center of Bay Area Legal Services. And as of today, we are a team of 6 attorneys, 3 social workers, 2 legal assistants, and 1 of our attorneys is an Equal Justice Works Fellow. And our current fellow specializes in the representation of youth in foster care who are victims of human trafficking. I am also proud to share that the Know Your Rights booklet I used during my fellowship was the basis for the creation of my app called Foster Power. Foster Power is the only app in the country that explains benefits, protections, and legal rights of youth in foster care. Now, not only do I represent clients, but I also run the Foster Power team, which consists of myself, our business director, product manager, human trafficking project manager, who is our EJW fellow, and our training and outreach specialist, who is a lived expert and experienced foster care. We have over 5,000 downloads of our app, hundreds of thousands of web views and video views, and we are often asked by other states about national expansion. Before Foster Power, youth in Florida had no way to access information on their rights and the laws that govern child welfare in Florida. Now, youth in Florida foster care have information on their rights, and they can better advocate for themselves, and as a result, they have better lives and futures. I want to end tonight with a client story. This was an outcome for a child I represented during my fellowship. I was appointed to a 10-year-old client who I'm going to call Charlie. The state had filed a termination of parental rights against his parents. His parents had past substance abuse issues, but they had completely turned their lives around and were clean and sober for over a year. But the state just did not believe that the change would last, and they were moving forward with the termination because legally they had the grounds to do so. When I met Charlie, I discovered and was horrified to know that he had been in over 9 group homes and foster homes, and that he had been abused, bullied, neglected in almost all of them. Charlie loved his parents, and he wanted to go home more than anything. I filed motions with the court, and I continued negotiations with the state, and we just were at a standstill. So we went to mediation, and we all agreed for a psychologist to work with Charlie and his parents to assess the bond and to give a recommendation if going home was going to be appropriate. When the psychologist finally validated Charlie's position, the state agreed to drop the petition as to Charlie. I got to call Charlie on his 12th birthday to tell him with his father that he was going home. He said that it was the best day of his life, but it also may have been one of mine. Before Charlie had an attorney, no one was fighting for his position. and he very well could have aged out of foster care many years later without ever going home to his family. I could be here the rest of the night telling you client stories, but the point I want to highlight is none of this is possible without Equal Justice Works. I invite all of you tonight to talk to the fellows at your tables and learn about the important work they're doing, because each and every one of them is making an impact in their communities. I want to sincerely thank everyone who has helped me along the way. My parents, my brother, my friends, most importantly, my husband and my son, Heather Tager, David Gray, Professor Judith Scully, Stetson Law School, Bay Area Legal Services, Greenberg Traurig, Funding Florida Legal Aid, Legal Services Corporation, and Mia Sussman and everyone else at Equal Justice Works for this opportunity. Now, I want to leave you all with one final thought in the form of a quote that I feel really embodies the work that fellows do. This quote is by Ossiano Piamelli in Sensibilities for Social Justice Lawyers. It was actually an excerpt from a reading in my social justice course back in law school, and it just really has stuck with me all of these years. As social justice lawyers, we are at our best when we fully internalize that our lawyering is not primarily about our own self-expression. It is about the vital end we seek, the survival, advancement, and flourishing of our clients and our communities. Our aim is not simply to fight the good fight, but to win it. Thank you so much.